Hey everyone, welcome back to your Resident Girl channel. Alright you guys, I'm so excited to be doing this video. I personally am such a big movie person. Like I love watching new movies, almost any type of genre, as long as it has a great story. So I geek over the Oscars. This is the very first year I actually saw not every single movie in the Oscars. Like I didn't watch a total of 3 movies and 2 shorts, and I'm talking about every single movie nominated to the Oscars, even ones that are just nominated for one category. I watched them. Some of the 3 that I didn't watch is Shaun the Sheep, just because I never liked those movies or that cartoon, so I just never watched it. I didn't see Love and Monsters because again I just didn't really like. I just didn't like the plot, and also didn't feel like it was worth my time and energy trying to find a version of it that I could watch. And then Greyhound, which I wanted to watch, but I couldn't find it, and I also didn't want to pay money to go to the theaters to go watch it. But I just found out it was on Apple TV, and I'm like, I could watch it before. So those are the 3 movies that I did not watch. Oh, and Pinocchio, 4 movies. I apologize, 4 movies. Those are the 4 movies I did not watch. So I am totally basing off. And then there are 2 shorts that I didn't watch just because, again, I just couldn't find them, unfortunately. One of them is Hunger Ward, and another one is Opera. Those are the 2 shorts that I just could not watch. So this is just based on I'm calculating about 90% of the Oscar movies that I didn't watch. But I'm so proud of myself because I pretty much watched all the movies, and this is exactly what I've always wanted to do. So now I feel like my guesses are pretty standard and pretty well done. Last year I watched only the Best Picture nominees, and I got almost every single one of the categories right. So now that I've actually watched everything, I'm very excited to see, like, oh my gosh, how well did I calculate my answers. Also, there will be a lot of spoilers about movies, so in case you guys haven't seen these movies at all, do not watch this, or unless you care. I will also probably be putting down the comment. Will I put in the comment section down below who my guesses are? I'll also be live tweeting it, so definitely follow me on Twitter. And maybe I might also be posting stuff on my Instagram story, so follow me on Twitter and on Instagram to go check that out as I'm watching it with you guys. And I want to see what you guys think of who wins. I'll also be making sure to post like what my guesses are right before like the nominations actually announced, so again you guys can see whether or not I get it right. And I'll probably, depending on some categories, I might rant about why these people deserve to win and if they did it. So let's hope I'm right, because not I'm gonna do a lot of ranting for a while. Okay, but a lot of these categories, in all fairness, there were a lot of great movies and a lot of great actors that were, in my opinion, were like sometimes were just really hard, and I'm like, okay. So now without further ado, oh, and one last thing, if you guys actually want me to rate and rank all of these movies, I could totally do YouTube videos for each of them. I just did not have time to do it before the Oscars, just because, oh, like last week I binge watched 9 movies for Saturday and Sunday. That was a lot. I cannot believe how many movies I watched that day. Like especially on Saturday. Saturday I watched like 5 movies in a row, back to back. Except the time I went to with dinner, I pretty much just sat on my butt. So my butt's a little flat this week. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. So for the nominee for actor in a leading role, the person that I picked was Anthony Hopkins. He was in The Father. That movie was amazing, you guys. Highly recommend. It's about this guy who has dementia, Alzheimer's or something along those lines, and you're seeing it through his perspective. Originally was a play, and the way that Anthony Hopkins portrays it is stellar. It's amazing. I'm like, wow. So a total wow factor there. So I do highly recommend watching that movie. And again, the performance was stellar. I love that movie. I wish it was nominated for more categories because it was really well done. Actor in a supporting role, I'm giving it to Lakeith Stanfield. Oh my gosh, you guys! It's for Judas and the Black Messiah. First of all, I have like contradicting feelings about that particular movie, just because there are certain things that I'm like, I wish you guys didn't do it this way. Especially, I would have preferred it if they just kept through Lakeith's point of view the whole time, because that's essentially what the movie's about. It's about him kind of betraying who the Black Messiah essentially is. So, and their relationship. And I think that there were just so many moments that we kept kind of going back and forth between these 2 characters. And I'm like, I just think that Lakeith's performance was so stellar, so amazing, that it drove the movie. And I think if they would just focused on him throughout the whole thing, it would have made the movie 1,000 times better. But hey, that's just my own opinion. But his performance was amazing, especially towards the end when you find out that in real life that this that the guy actually ends up killing himself. The guy he portrays ends up killing himself, and you just kind of can see it through his own actions. Like, and at first he tries to justify himself. He's like, you know, they asked him, like, do you feel guilty for what you did? And at first, like, and it was based on a documentary. So this movie is based on the documentary that this guy saw, and then also the life of these people who were the Black Panthers. And then when he says, like, no, I don't regret it, and then he kills himself like 24 hours after, like, the documentary either aired or he did the documentary, one of the two. And I'm just like, I can totally see that happening. And the way that Lakeith's performance shows that, it's beautiful, amazing. I highly recommend you watching it. Again, like 80% because of his performance. His performance was amazing. Actress in a leading role, I'm gonna give it to Andrea Day. Oh my gosh. For the movie the United States versus Billie Holiday, my rating was okay. Like, it's definitely one of those movies that I might watch again. But it's not like honestly one of my new personal favorites. But Andrea Day, I had no idea the scope of her talent. Like, this is, for me, very few times can I actually say actors or actresses are like triple threats, you know, and I think she's a triple threat. Like, I cannot believe that she can sing the way she does and she can act the way she does. Like, I cannot wait that hopefully this will start her like acting career in a good way. Like, I cannot wait to see her doing more stuff, or even in Broadway. Like, I don't know if she's been in Broadway, but I looked up and this is like, I think only her second movie, and she's the main character in this movie. So I think she killed it and knocked it out of the park, and I'm so excited for, like I said, for the rest of her career. They better really take advantage of this girl. Actress in a supporting role. This one's kind of hard, to be honest with you. Just because, like, I watched Minari and I watched Hillbilly Elegy, and I just finished watching Hillbilly Elegy, and I get why. So I was literally between Glenn Close and, I'm gonna butcher this name and apologize, Yoo Jung Yoon. I was definitely between those two. Everyone else was kind of, in my opinion, wasn't like up to snuff for me. Again, humble opinion. So I'm gonna give it to Yoo Jung Yoon. But if Glenn Close wins, I'll actually also be happy, but that is my guess. Animated feature film, Onward. You guys, I remember when I saw the trailer for Onward, I was like, this looks stupid. And okay, another thing is Soul. Soul is also nominated, and I don't think it should win. I don't even think it should be nominated, just because the first half was amazing. Like, I couldn't, like, you know, like the theory of, like, you know, seeing your soul go up to heaven. And I think, especially with me, who's right now questioning, like, the meaning of life type of mentality in my own head. Like, anyways, I can go on a whole different subject about that. So I was so excited for this, especially the first half. But then, like, the rest of it, I don't know. It was missing something. And I was like, and it didn't do up to snuff with, I think, the bigger themes that it was originally touching upon. It kind of, I don't know, made it too simple. And I know it's a children's movie, but let's be real here. Pixar has a really wonderful way of taking really hard topics and breaking it down for kids, but also giving you, like, your own life affirmations. You're like, damn, that just spoke to my heart right here. So that's why I didn't think Soul should have been that, you know. But hey, Onward was really well done. Like, even, like, as I'm watching it, like, the first part, like, is okay, and then as you get towards, like, the end, and you even see, like, the character's realization, you're realizing certain things with him, and you're like, oh my goodness, wow, y'all just, like, threw me a curveball in the best possible way. I watched Over the Moon, and again, it wasn't like I didn't watch Shaun the Sheep, so you guys know. And Wolfwalkers, the thing with Wolfwalkers for me, I'm like, you guys are mixing Brother Bear and I always forget, Brave together in one movie. The only good thing about Wolfwalkers, in my opinion, was the animation. It was like old school animation in the best part, but with a little bit modern, nice kick. I would love to see more movies animated in that way. Okay. For cinematography, this was also hard. Hold on, I gotta wait. Okay, so I did The Trial of Chicago 7 just because I thought that there were certain moments that were just so well filmed. I mean, honestly, all of these, in my opinion, have like little things that irked me. All of the nominees for this category. So this was really hard for me. So I'm gonna go with The Trial of Chicago 7, just because, again, there were certain moments where I thought were beautifully done, and just especially when you're talking about certain moments and certain characters and seeing their own development, I thought beautifully done. All right, costume design. I gave it to. I'm pretty sure I gave it to. Again, I want to make sure. Costume design. Hold on. I just want to make 1,000% sure. I gave it to Milan. Yeah, I gave it to Milan. I didn't honestly think, like, I mean, it was just, I was gonna give it to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I really was. Until, like, I really started really thinking about it. And I was like, just because it was, like, a one scene, there wasn't a lot of costumes. That's, like, most of it was pretty much one scene type of, like, so the costumes pretty much stayed the same, except for, like, a couple, like, two other sectors. But so I'm gonna give it to Mulan, even though you guys already know how I feel about Mulan. If you guys want to check it out, go check out my review about Mulan in general. Again, I didn't watch Pinocchio, so I can't. So I did take it out of the running, even though I did see a bunch of trailers just to kind of give me some sort of picturesque moment. But I'm gonna go with Mulan, see what happens. For directing, that was also a hard one for me to try and set. I picked Minari. I think. Yeah, I mean, because another round, I did not like Mank for like I purposely did not pick Mank for any of these categories because I just don't understand why. Like, I just think honestly that's pretentious Hollywood putting themselves in there. I'm like, you guys, and I recently just watched Citizen Kane to understand Mank, and I'm like, and then literally after watching Mank, I'm like, you guys made me not like Citizen Kane. It was just very pretentious, very elitist, and very bourgeois. And I'm like, and bourgeois. And I'm like, yo, y'all are trying so hard right now. And in the worst possible way. And especially because of like the movies that are being nominated, I'm like, this is definitely the type of movie that should have been nominated in the Oscars in 2007, because I feel like this is the type of movie that probably would have been successful then, but not today. It's just because I'm like, y'all are trying too much. Anyways, Nomadland, again, I don't know. It's because maybe I just personally didn't really like the movie too much either, which is why I just also am avoiding picking it. But it does have its good moments, so I can't deny it. So out of just like honestly like process of elimination, I picked Minari because Promising Young Woman, I just didn't think it was up to that level. Like, it was definitely an interesting theory, and I think that they could have definitely done a little bit more with Promising Young Woman than they actually did, which is why I'm like, And then another round, like, I get why but I'm just like, but again, it wasn't a movie that I'm like, oh, not like last year's. Last year's directing nominee was 1945 or something like that, 46 or something. That movie blew me out of the water. All right, best documentary feature. Okay, this one I picked Crip Camp. If you ask me, you're asking me, I think the only other movie for me that I really liked was The Mole Agent. Yo, that thing was funny as crap. It really was. But the only thing I really couldn't wrap my hand around The Mole Agent was how is that a documentary? Because there were certain moments where I'm like, it feels like it was acted out. Just, okay. You guys have to watch it to get what I'm saying. And everything else was just, again, it was just okay. And I just don't like just the way it was filmed. I guess I just need to get used to like how documentaries are filmed, just because it just really bothered me certain moments. Documentary short subject. Again, I'm gonna have to go with A Love Song for Latasha. Yo, I just love the way that they talked throughout that whole like little short. It was very moving. It was beautifully done. There were certain moments when you were actually just hearing the voices, and they had kind of like these like animations kind of going on, and I just thought it was beautifully done out of everything. Again, this is me not watching Hunger Ward. I only saw the trailer, but A Love Song for Latasha really touched my heart, so maybe Hunger Ward might win, just because again I saw the trailer and I was like, it might win. For film editing, has to be The Father, because honestly there were times when even I was like getting like freaked out because of how like they were just panning and moving things, and just the setting. It was beautifully done. I think the editing for that movie was amazing, stellar, hands down. I saw it and I was like, yes, literally as I left the theater I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna pick Anthony Hopkins for the best actor, but I'm 1,000% picking it for film and editing, because this thing was amazing. Anyways, I cannot speak enough about it. International films, you guys, I have to say this. Better Days took me, like, it even tells you it's gonna be like kind of like a teenage love story. And at first I'm like, really? That's nominated? But as I'm watching it, I was pleasantly surprised. But I also know, as I'm watching it, I'm like, there is no way this thing's gonna win. Just because I just think people are not gonna take it as seriously. But it's actually, I highly recommend it. It's not the cutesy wootsy love story, but to me it is. So you can take it or leave it. The Man Who Sold His Skin was, again, I thought that one could have been so much better. It's just certain things that just kind of bothered me about it, which is why I don't think it's good enough. Again, another round, I have mixed feelings about another round. I can go more in depth about that. Collective, I didn't really like Collective. I really didn't. And it's mostly because of how it's not necessarily the story, it's just how they filmed it that really bothered me. So I ended up, I'm gonna butcher this name too, and I apologize. I say Que Vida Aida. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, Que Vida Aida. I could, because I'm in Latin, so I get Que Vida Aida. That was a great movie. And so when I saw it, that it was nominated for that particular category, because again, I'm watching all these movies. Like, I literally made a spreadsheet of all the movies that are nominated, so sometimes I just didn't recognize like what's the category, and so like I'm watching it, so when I saw it, I was like, yes, Que Vida Aida. I really wish, what's that movie called? We're gonna come up to it. It's nominated for best original song. I really wished it was gonna be for international feature film, because if those two were there, I would have picked the other one. I'm gonna tell you guys which one it is. For makeup and hairstyling, definitely Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I really do. Especially after watching kind of like that document, the little documentary after that movie, I'm like, of course, yes, brilliant genius. Especially because it literally, I know how. Oh my God. Anyways, for Viola Davis, honestly, her makeup, and you just could not stop looking at her face. And I know how she looks like in real life, so I'm like, what did they do to you? So yeah, literally brilliant, 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 brilliant. All right, for music, this was really hard for me because there are certain movies that I've like the score of the movie, like I'm just like I hear it and I'm like, yes, of course you're nominated or it should be nominated or something. But for all of these movies, there was never one that I'm just like, oh my goodness, like it really called out to me. So this was kind of hard for me to pick. For original score, like this is hard. I ended up picking Minari. Just because I think so, I don't know. Like that one, I'm just like, I was like, I can't figure out which one, especially because I like, especially there was never like, again, none of these movies, like their score, like really called out to me. Certain movies, like the score will call out to you, but these movies just, so I just went with Minari. I don't know. Okay, so for music, okay, The Life Ahead. If The Life Ahead was nominated for Best International Film, I definitely would have picked that over Que Vida AIDA, just because I love The Life Ahead. It was so cute. All right, so I'm gonna go with Speak Now, mostly because I love Leslie Odom Jr.'s voice. Of course, the letters and the music was beautifully done and beautifully arranged. Of course, that's not the only reason, but I just have a, I mean, we all have a soft spot for Leslie Odom Jr. And how cool would it be if he were to win his Oscar today? I don't know if that would make him. I know he has a Tony already, probably. I don't know if he has a Grammy. Let's look it up. Hold on. He has a Tony and a Grammy. If he gets it today, that would be his Oscar, so he'd be an Ogt winner, not an EGOT. I think he needs his Emmy, yo. He could be an EGOT winner if he gets his Oscar. He'd be so close. All right, for Best Picture, yo, this was also hard because a lot of the movies that were nominated were really like it was honestly a hard decision. I mean the movies were Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Child of Chicago 7. I ended up going with The Child of Chicago 7 because I'm gonna be 1,000% here because of the political climate and everything going on, and you know the Oscars like to watch their backs. You know they do, especially with what they did. What was it that where they like accidentally like gave the award to La La Land, but it was actually Moonlight. It was Moonlight that won. So, and I was like, yo, I know that you're probably gonna go with one of these two movies. So I'm gonna go with The Trials of Chicago 7 because I love it. And I honestly, 1,000% here, not just the only reason, but I also do think that it should win. It was a really well done movie. It was amazing. But then once again, just because I think that they're gonna try to cover their bases, if that one doesn't win, it's gonna be Judas and the Black Messiah. Just because I think that's gonna be, again, I don't necessarily wasn't a big fan of Judas because again, I would have preferred it to have been through Lakeith's perspective throughout the whole movie and not just, and I'm like flipping between the two actors. So then for production design, I ended up going with The Father, just because the sets were also really well done. Not only the film and editing of the sets were beautifully well done, so I was like, has to go with The Father. For short film, this was hard. This was just because honestly, I remember, I forget which year I ended up watching the animated short films, and I honestly thought this other film was gonna win, but a Pixar film ended up winning, which I was like, why did the Pixar film win? But in this one, I don't know, there weren't any ones that I was like, oh my gosh, these are amazing, and especially because Genius Loki, like I watched that one and I was like, this is just not my vibe. Like it's just not my style. Like it's not something that I personally would do. I think I'm gonna have to go with Burrow. Like again, just a process of elimination, and yeah, I'm just gonna stick with Pixar for this one. But again, I wasn't really a big fan, so I'm just going with Burrow. Short film. Okay, this one I have to say, and again, it's gonna be Two Distant Strangers. That short film, I would have loved it to have been like a really big feature film because it was so good, especially touching upon, again, the political climate of everything going on. And honestly, that was such a good one, especially kind of like that little like futurism type of like mentality, just like not futurism, what is it? Like time travel type of mentality that's going on there, like the deja vu, Groundhog Day, all that. I thought it was really well done. Honestly, this movie did not, like, as you're watching it, it actually just it transports you, which is one of the things that I feel like all these movies should be doing, but a lot of them don't in general. So the fact that a short film did that to me was, I think, hands down great. All right, for sound, I ended up picking Sound of Metal. So The Sound of Metal is about a guy who loses his hearing. He's a drummer, and honestly there were moments when you're just kind of like hearing what he hears, and I just thought the way that they would like transition in and out of that sound was beautifully done. So I had to give it Sound of Metal. I was like, yes, hands down. Visual effects, Tenet. You guys, Tenet should have been nominated for more things. I don't know what happened. I don't know what instead of Mank. Honestly, instead of Mank, Tenet should have been nominated more because that thing was amazing. You guys should totally go see that movie. That movie leaves you just like shook at all lives. Also, if anyone can answer me how they use the restroom in that movie, I would that'd be good. And then writing and adapting of a screenplay. I did One Night in Miami. I really liked it. I really like certain scenarios of the characters, especially like the fictitious idea of like some of these characters coming together in real life, because it is based on real life people like Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, and then I'm not gonna lie, I do not remember the other two two people off the top of my head. But I really like the concept of them just all being there in that one room and having like a night together. And I again, really well done. It makes me want to go to the I don't know. It's not the Copacabana. I don't know, but all right. And the only reason why I didn't pick The White Tiger, because I reread the book for The White Tiger and I watched the movie, is because there were certain things that I feel weren't in the movie that I think should have been. But other than that, The White Tiger was also, I do highly recommend watching that movie. For original screenplay, I ended up going with Judas and the Black Messiah, especially because of Fred and Bill's relationship as you're watching it. Like, you just honestly are just, you're transported into kind of their own relationship. And I love the title says it all. Judas and the Black Messiah, you know, of course, that's going to be the whole theme of the movie. And I thought it was brilliantly done. And once again, it's Lakeith. Lakeith, the way he portrays the role and brings what I think the writer was trying to bring into this movie is so well done. Like, you just can't stop watching him. And again, once again, I go back to kind of like when I saw him kill, like when they says that then he ends up killing himself, I'm like, I see Lakeith throughout that whole movie, especially in that last scene where they're like, where he's like, I want out, and then he ends up like still staying in. You're just like, it again, beautifully, amazingly well done. When they end up killing everyone in that house, like it was a great concept, great story, really well written. Again, certain things I didn't like, and I can go in more depth about that, but I do think that it's gonna win original screenplay. It has to win original screenplay because Minari is it because I keep comparing it to Parasite in my head, and I'm just like, I think that's what, in a weird way. I don't know if that, I know they're not. It has similar themes in it that I'm just like, I think you guys were just trying to aim for that. I do. Promising Young Woman, I just didn't think the story was well developed enough for it to win original screenplay. The Trial of Chicago 7, just because it is based on a real trial, I don't think it necessarily had to really work that hard. Sound of Metal, again, for me, it was a pretty okay movie. So that's pretty much it. The Judas and the Black Messiah, definitely original screenplay. And those are all the categories. I don't know. Let me know if you guys agree with me. Whether or not I'm right or maybe I'm 100% crazy. But that's pretty much it. All right, you guys, don't forget, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter because I will be live tweeting and like kind of like posting it on my Insta, the whole Oscars. So we should see. All right, bye.